let's move on to lever action rifles. So, welcome to Petito Defense. I'm your host, Carl Petito. There's two aspects of Petito Defense. The first is firearms. Exercises to be done and optimal training to be done for optimal endurance and accuracy with shooting. The other aspect of Petito Defense is karate, martial arts, self-defense type instruction. Now, let's move on to lever action rifles. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, what really got me excited about guns is watching Westerns as a kid. And people will call these cowboy guns. This action of the rifle to remove a spent cartridge and to replace another one is called the lever action because it uses a long lever to open the action and to close the action. So every time I do this, it ejects a spent shell casing and places another cartridge into the chamber where it's now ready to fire. This has a hammer on it. I can put the safety on and then hold the hammer and lower it down, partially release, and then I'm just hitting, there's a wall of steel there and the safety is on and the hammer is not touching the firing pin, and of course we're always keeping it pointed in a safe direction away from anything that we do not wish to destroy, even an unloaded firearm. I showed my camera person that it's unloaded and I verified it a couple of times as well. Now, we have dummy rounds called snap caps. But first, I'm going to show you what the ammunition looks like for this. This is a larger caliber. It's 45-70. This is the cartridge with the bullet in it. This is a live round. This is the cartridge, a spent cartridge. This is the shell casing when the primer has been struck with the firing pin. The powder already ignited and pushed the bullet out. So that's a relatively larger shell casing. What does 45-70 mean? The 45 is 0.45 inches the diameter of the bullet, and 70 is original black powder charge in grains. So when we talk about grains of powder, grain is a unit of measure. So 1 grain equals 0.0648 grams. So it's a very small unit of measure, a unit of weight. So there is such a thing as ammunition reloading, where you can use these spent casings, weigh out your powder, put a new primer in there, fill it with powder, and press a new bullet onto the brass shell casing, and then you have a brand new cartridge ready to fire. So it's quite interesting that when we talked about the 6.5 Creedmoor, or the 6.5 Creedmoor is commonly called, it's a 6.5 millimeter diameter bullet. The 45-70 right here, in this case, is a 0.5 inch diameter bullet, and then the 70 is pays tribute to the old loads from the Old West, to where how many grains of black powder they used to use. We'll talk about black powder guns in a different video in the casing. Okay, so back to the lever action. Here we still have the stock. We have our length of pull. We have our forend or forestock. Is a beautiful walnut wood, and some people call it furniture. Say, well, nice furniture on that gun. Let's put a couple of dummy rounds into it. So I'm confirming with my camera person, this is a dummy round. To see how it's marked red, and it's a different color. It looks much different than the live round. So I'm going to feed that into the side gate. So that's a gate that opens right there. And I'm going to press that in there. And we're going to put a couple of them in. So that's one. I'm moving very slow and paying attention. Normally I would not have any live rounds in the room when I'm demonstrating the workings of the firearm, and I don't want to ever take the chance of mixing them up. So each round I'm confirming with my camera person that is a dummy round, is a non-firing round, and putting that in. And then when I rack it into the chamber, I'm still going to confirm that it's a dummy round. So I'm gonna pull my fingers, my trigger finger always stays out straight. I'm into the lever. I'm racking a new round into the chamber, and I'm still gonna confirm, yep, that's a dummy round. And the safety, when it's red, actually shows that it's ready to fire. When I push it out, it's on safe right now. In order to fire, I have to press the safety off, then it shows red, then now it's ready to go, okay? Now, after it fires, in order to take the spent shell casing out, I'm going to have that ejected, and now that automatically loads a new cartridge into the chamber. And then after I fire the gun, comes out again, I can put a new one in. Okay, this holds about five rounds or 5 cartridges. So a cartridge is also, you know, called a round. So if I have 10 cartridges, I'll say I have 10 rounds with me. Okay, that's lever action rifles. Back to the 22 caliber, but this is a different action. This is called a semi-automatic. So automatic is when you just pull the trigger and hold it and it just keeps firing. Semi-automatic is you have to pull the trigger every time. Pull, bang, 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 bang. That's what this is, okay? Now, this has a magazine that's underneath that you load with the cartridges and press it here, and it puts the ammunition in line with the semi-automatic action. So the semi-automatic action, when you load it, you pull it back, and then that puts a round or a cartridge into the chamber. It's ready to fire. So when I fire the gun, now the gases will expand, throw the bullet out, but the gases do something else in this. They also push the action back, and it grabs and it spits out the spent shell casing and grabs another cartridge and puts it back in. Bang! Every time I pull the trigger, it moves back and forth, ejecting and putting a new one in, ejecting an old one, putting a new one in, bang, 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 and that's semi-automatic. The next and last action I want to show you is called a single action, because you manually load one cartridge at a time into the action. This is a 7mm Remington Magnum. Magnum means that it holds more gunpowder capacity, it has more velocity and energy, and it has a longer effective range. So if I'm hunting deer over a long field and maybe it's 200, 300 yards, 400 yards, I bring this. If I'm in thick brush and I'm in a shorter area, then I'll bring my lever action with my heavier bullet. Now, 7mm Remington Magnum is a 7.21 millimeter bullet, and the casing holds a lot more powder for a lot more energy. So this, the single actions, they break down or open differently. This has a nice flange right here that I pull with my long finger. So this here, this has been verified that it's unloaded and pointing in a safe direction. Finger never touches the trigger unless I'm ready to fire this firearm. Pull on this right here, that releases it, and I can open it up. I don't have a dummy around for this, but I would slide a cartridge into the chamber. That's the chamber right here. So I could simply slide the whole cartridge in there, okay, and then close the chamber, all right, and then I could cock the hammer and fire the gun. And this is very, very accurate. there's less moving parts. You say, well, why do they make single actions? They tend to be more accurate because there's less moving parts. There's less variables to change the bullet trajectory. This is milled to very close specifications. The machining is very meticulous. The next best accurate would be a bolt action rifle, which we went over earlier. So that's the different actions. That's a little bit about the different ammunition. We're going to talk about ammunition and measurements and what all this stuff means in a little more detail in future classes. Thank you very much for watching this video. Petito Defense. Check it out on PetitoDefense.com and also CarlPetito.com. Thank you for liking and subscribing.